Let's check in with the OnlyFans star that slept with 100 guys in a day.
And like, it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal sex at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember.
There's an infection of moral bankruptcy, and it looks like it originated in a lab in feminism. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we like to call out lies, hypocrisy, and corruption, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters because truth conquers. But did you know you can't conquer anything unless you're strong? Luckily, here to help us get strong is Ancestral Supplements grass-fed beef liver. Beef liver is nature's multivitamin. It makes your metabolism fast, energy high, and cravings low. I dare say it's time to get healthier and stronger with grass-fed beef liver. Get yours at ancestralsupplements.com/JPReacts, and for 15% off, use code JPReacts. Enjoy. Now let's get into it. So, OnlyFans star Lily Phillips decided to have relations Bill Clinton style with 100 men in 24 hours. I bring this up as a video not because I find there's any relevancy to following the nuances of this story, but what's relevant is there's a moral bankruptcy. We know that. And young people and old people, when there's nefarious sources, whether it's Hollywood, whether it's feminism, whether it's wokeism, what they all have in common is they convince you to do very disempowering things to yourself while convincing you that those disempowering things are in fact empowering. So one of the things is using your body. Instead of using sex and intimacy to connect, share love with your chosen one, feminism says, you know what, women, promiscuity, how empowering is that? And you know, abortions for that matter, how empowering is that? Go out, empower yourself. 100 guys in a day, whatever it is, go empower yourself, ladies. Show that nobody can control you. It's a very disempowering thing packaged as empowering. The trick's on you. And I would dare say this OnlyFans star is someone who absolutely fell for it. What I find interesting though is in footage you'll see after her little event, she is clearly traumatized by her empowering feminist mentality. It really is shocking. I feel for her. She's obviously a very traumatized person. Taking a look at the headline, OnlyFans star who slept with 100 men in a day breaks down in tears as she details her experience. And before the video clip, here's a Twitter post that I think captures the whole thing accurately. My hot take on the Lily Phillips situation is this. Liberal feminists have significantly disserviced younger women by creating a false sense of empowerment through sex when realistically sex will always be patriarchal in nature. So in other words, instead of letting your moral compass guide your sexual behavior to be something meaningful, letting your moral compass just get shattered and you're expressing immortality and using sex as a way to feel significant, valued, empowered, but you're doing it all in very disempowering ways to prove the patriarchy wrong. Feminists, thank you for that. I think we've had enough. By the way, I think it's exactly the same for men and women. I'm not like a one-sided bigot. I am a two-sided bigot. This OnlyFans star just happens to be a woman, so it's at that angle, but I think absolutely promiscuity, no morals guiding your behavior, sexual or otherwise, just as disempowering for men as it is for women. With that said, here is the OnlyFans star Lily moments after she completed her 100-man event. By the way, you can tell she's already in tears. She is crying. These aren't tears of joy, as you'll see. This is a trauma response, a lot of pain. She'll also talk about other traumatic symptoms that she experienced. She's not calling them trauma, but they're traumatic symptoms. And I would dare say her behavior present day is likely just a symptom of a deeper unresolved trauma. Because it's unresolved, taught her, I have to give myself away in order to be valued, as opposed to I'll be valued based on myself. I have to sell myself out in order to be valued, to be significant.
Sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by I think like the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're gonna do this, and like it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like...
That says a lot. Sometimes you just dissociate. Dissociation, that's a trauma response. Have you ever heard someone's like, yeah, I went through this and I don't remember, or I didn't recover that memory for years? That's dissociation. It means what you're experiencing in this moment is too overwhelming for you. You don't have the emotional faculties to deal with the overwhelm, the pain, the negativity. So your mind essentially just leaves your body. You're dissociated from what? Yourself.
Like it's not like normal things at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember, and that's it.
That's another trauma response, part of the dissociation. She had relations with 100 guys. She can at best only remember 10. This is someone, as you're watching her, experiencing a lot of pain. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, here's something that'll scare you. Ashish Kumar Jha, former Biden administration COVID-19 response coordinator, recently gave a rather chilling speech at the University of Michigan School of Public Health. He warned of a new age of pandemics fueled by bioweapons development and natural threats. He called for massive investments in vaccines that protect against pathogens that don't even exist yet, and called for a war against so-called misinformation. But the question we need to ask is, who's working on bioweapons and how many labs do they have globally? Yes, Trump got the win. I'm stoked about that. But evil is still lurking, and being prepared is the best defense. The wellness company's Contagion Emergency Kit, engineered by Dr. Peter McCullough and his medical board, includes 5 critical life-saving medications like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, Tamiflu, and a nebulizer. Every household can now have access to these hard-to-get medications without the red tape. It's simple. Fill out a digital intake form and your kit arrives in 1 to 2 weeks. My recommendation, do not wait until the deep state puts their next plans into action. Stay ready for the unexpected. Head to twc.health/jpreacts and use code JPREACTS to save $48 plus get free shipping. Contagion emergency kits are available only for U.S. residents. It pays to be an American. twc.health/JPREACTS. Now back to the video.
I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100,
Now, it's easy to see a trauma response of violation when someone violates the other person unconsensually. This was very consensual violation. She allowed herself to be violated. I mean, this is all her self-responsibility. She allowed the violation, so all within her is the perpetrator and the victim, all within her own psychology.
I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them, and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Did someone say that to you?
Yeah. And obviously it just makes me feel so bad.
She feels bad for having a remote inkling to have a boundary. I'm not going to do 5 minutes. I can only do 3 minutes with you at this point. And she feels bad. That's someone who is so used to having to sell herself out in order to feel valued. And you can say, I feel so bad. I'd translate that to say, I feel so unvalued because I didn't give myself away enough to all these men.
Do you think you should feel bad about that?
I guess when you've promised something to people who support you, it's kind of hard to let them down.
But it's up to you, right? Like when you know.
Yeah.
Have you even processed, do you think, what's happened?
Not yet.
And I would say, please don't be distracted by the degenerate behavior of her and just write her off, because someone like this, she just experienced a lot of trauma. It was self-induced. It was consensual, come violate me trauma. She was the perpetrator and the victim all at the same time. But more significantly, this is such abnormal behavior. A healthy human who's got relatively healthy psychology, they're not doing this behavior. I would wager all my money she has deep-seated childhood trauma, unresolved. Whatever happened to her, anybody's guess. But I would guess that unresolved trauma is perpetuating itself through patterns of behavior where she has to sell herself in order to feel valued, because inherently she feels no value, probably from the original trauma. What I'm trying to say is, don't just judge her behaviors. I mean, I judge her behaviors, but don't just do that. This is someone who genuinely needs prayers for healing. And we all love a good redemption story. So do you think her experiencing these actual emotions of hers, which I'm so glad she was experiencing those, because I think those are the only scent trail towards truth and her higher good that have permeated her weird world that she's created. We all have the good redemption story. Do we have hope for her? We do, until now. She doubles down. Instead of understanding, what are these emotions telling me? Where are they wanting to guide me to do things better? She comes out not too long after with a casting call for 1,000 men in 24 hours. I don't think we have her redemption story written yet. And denial's a hell of a thing when it comes to trauma and violations, especially violations that are at the hand of our own self, because she comes out after the video where she's broken down, shortly thereafter with this video where she is exuding nothing but denial for what her actual experience was. Take a look.
So on Saturday, I got run through by 101 guys. Now, I've had a lot of backlash so far about it, and I've seen some of the videos and I see your side. Like, I am not trying to encourage other girls to be doing that, like if they don't want to and feel like they have to do that.
I would encourage girls, even if they want to not do that.
But my side is like, I'm just a girl trying to enjoy myself.
By the way, her video taken right after her little event, was she enjoying herself? Was she having fun? Or are we just seeing someone who's tricked themselves through denial, therefore pretending their experience was fun and enjoyable?
Trying to have fun, trying to make some content for you all, you know, trying to get my bag. Like, this is fun to me. This is what I enjoy. No one is forcing me to do this.
She is lying to herself. I don't think anybody else is buying this.
And I feel like we're going back in time to where women are getting shamed for being a sluzzer.
Her intellectual point of view is, wow, this is bad. I'm getting backlash. I feel like we're going back in time where women are getting shamed for being a soozer, whatever that is. It's English word for promiscuous, apparently. What if that's actually a good thing? Do you know there's a difference between toxic shame and healthy shame? Yes, the emotion of shame can absolutely be healthy. Distinguished from toxic shame. Toxic shame says, I'm worthless the way I am. Healthy shame says, what I did was bad. Bad relative to what? Bad relative to your higher good. Bad relative to what's aligned with your heart, your soul, and God's will for you. When you do things out of alignment with that, like a kid that steals candy from the store and then feels shame about that, that is very healthy shame. The kid feels ashamed. Good, because the shame, we know pain is a good motivator. It's maybe the best motivator. Healthy shame, experiencing that when we're out of alignment with our higher good, teaches us to do things a better way. So whether it's a woman out there being promiscuous, feeling shame for it, or a man out there being promiscuous, feeling shame for it, I say that is good. That's in their highest interest. That is good, healthy shame, there to be a painful motivator to teach them to be a person more aligned with their heart, their soul, their values. I would dare say it's going back in time to a healthier place. With all that said, I do not like this story whatsoever. The reason why I bring it to you on this video is because I think the purpose of it is realizing we're living in a world that has moral bankruptcy. I think we're going in a good direction, but we still have a lot of work to do. And if you don't know what your values are, your principles, your morals, which are all aligned with, I think, ultimately God's will, or else they're not true morals, principles, or values. When you know what those are, you get a sense of value and fulfillment and empowerment by being aligned with those, with your words, actions, and behaviors. But if you don't know what your morals, values, and principles are, then you fall for the trickery of the devil masquerading as an angel in disguise, whether that's feminism, Hollywood, wokeism. You look at what they present to you, here's something disempowering, while they trick you into believing the disempowering thing is empowering for you. You take that bait if you don't know what your actual morals, values, and principles are. But if you do know, you look at that bait and say, I know how to recognize junk food. I'm going to stick with my grass-fed ribeye steak, and screw you for your trickery and your deceptive manipulation, you morally bankrupt devils. With that said, let me know what you think about this story in the comments below. I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video, but until then, stay moral.